At the 2026 World Cup, you can finish third in your group and still go through, not as a wild card, not as a consolation prize, as a proper qualifier. And the craziest part? 8 teams are going to do exactly that. So the question is, which 8? How does FIFA decide? And what happens if 6 teams all finish third with the same number of points? Here's where it gets interesting. Let's start from the beginning, because this whole thing only makes sense once you understand why the format changed in the first place. Previous World Cups had 32 teams, 8 groups of 4. Top 2 from each group go through. Simple. Clean. Everyone understood it. Then FIFA said, we want 48 teams. Now you have a problem. You can't just have 48 teams in 8 groups. The math doesn't work neatly. So FIFA landed on a new structure. 12 groups, 4 teams each. And here's the twist. The top 2 from every group advance. But that only gives you 24 teams. You need 32 for the knockout stage. So FIFA added the 8 best third-place finishers to complete the bracket. And just like that, the most confusing qualification rule in World Cup history was born. Now let's talk about what finishing third actually means, because this sounds simple. It isn't. Every group has 4 teams. They play 3 matches each. You get 3 points for a win, 1 for a draw, 0 for a loss. The top 2 teams in each group qualify automatically. The team at the bottom goes home, and the team in third, they wait. They wait for all 12 groups to finish. They wait to see how the other 11 third-place teams did. And then FIFA lines up all 12 third-place results, ranks them, and takes the top 8. In theory, a team could lose all 3 games and still finish third. They'd just be the worst third-place team by a mile and wouldn't go through. But a team that wins 1 game, draws 1, and loses 1, 4 points, decent goal difference, they've got a real shot. Here's where it gets genuinely complicated. How do you compare third-place teams from different groups? FIFA has a tiebreaker system, and it goes in this exact order. First, points. Most points wins. If teams are level on points, then goal difference. If still level, then goals scored. If still level, then FIFA's disciplinary score, based on yellow and red cards received. Fewer cards is better. And if teams are somehow still tied after all of that, it comes down to FIFA World Ranking at the time of the tournament. So yes, a country's world ranking can literally determine whether they go home or survive into the knockout stage. That's not hypothetical. That's the actual rule. In practice, this creates a situation that no previous World Cup ever had. Teams finishing third in different groups have played completely different opponents. One group might have 3 elite teams. Another might be weaker across the board. A third-place team from a tough group might have 4 points and a negative goal difference, but still be a genuinely good side. A third-place team from an easier group might have 5 points, but got there by beating smaller nations. FIFA doesn't adjust for difficulty. It's a straight comparison, raw numbers only, which means the group you land in matters enormously, not just for finishing first or second, but for your entire chance of survival. Now here's a question that almost nobody asks, but should. What's the incentive for a team to actually win their group? Winning your group means you finish first. You qualify automatically. You also potentially get a more favorable path in the round of 32, the new knockout stage that this expanded format created. Finishing second still gets you through, but potentially with a harder draw. And finishing third, you get through if you're good enough. But you have zero control over what happens while you wait. You're at the mercy of results happening in stadiums you've never played in. So teams still want to win. They still want second. Third is survivable. It's just not comfortable. And this leads to something that keeps tournament organizers awake at night. Collusion risk. Here's the scenario. It's the final match day in 2 groups. In Group A, Team 1 and Team 2 both know that a draw guarantees them both second place or better. So why try to win? In the old format, this produced the disgrace of Gijón in 1982. 2 teams playing out a result that suited them both and knocked out a third country in the process. FIFA actually considered penalty shootouts to replace group stage draws entirely, just to prevent this. They ended up not doing it. The format went back to 4-team groups instead of 3. But the collusion conversation never fully goes away. It just gets more complex when third-place qualification is on the line too. So let's bring this full circle. You now understand why third-place qualification exists, because 48 teams don't fit neatly into a bracket without it. You understand how FIFA picks the 8 best. Points first, then goal difference, goals scored, discipline, and world ranking as the final tiebreaker. You understand that the group you're drawn into shapes your entire tournament fate, including whether your third-place finish is good enough to survive. And you understand that this system, as messy as it sounds, is actually FIFA's best attempt at keeping 48 nations competitive across 12 simultaneous groups. The beautiful game has always had complicated rules hiding behind a simple surface, a round ball, a rectangular pitch, and somehow a ranking system that might send you home based on how many yellow cards your defenders picked up. If 3/4 of your group are still alive after the group stage, chaos becomes the feature, not the bug. If you want to understand every other confusing rule at the 2026 World Cup before it happens in front of you, subscribe, because there's a lot more where this came from.